All right. Our next storyteller comes from a CF family. He's been a captain in the Crossing. He's an incredible guy, and I just have a huge heart for him, Mr. Rick Thomas. Come on up.
Thank you, Travis. Wow.
Thank you.
Aiden wore this on the beach 2 years ago as a volunteer at the landing, so I think that was appropriate to kind of set this up. So, hey, good to be here. I want to talk about family. I want to talk about why we're here and my connection to cystic fibrosis. Travis asked me, 6 weeks ago to do this, and I said, I'm all in. And then I had a little turnaround about 10 days ago, so I wanted to kind of acknowledge that because it's difficult, and if you can tell, I'm struggling just a little bit, but we're going to get through this. So, first of all, I'm thrilled to be a storyteller, and I have a story to tell. I told it on Bimini, and it came across pretty cool, and that was kind of impromptu. I had more time to really kind of put it all together, so tonight I've done that. I've brought some notes. And family is I think that's the focus, and you're going to learn that in my walk with cystic fibrosis, we didn't have the family we have here. And I hope if there's a takeaway from what I'm about to talk about is how important family and our community is to everybody that is dealing with adversity, cystic fibrosis, or whatever else. So the 800-pound gorilla in the room is, I have 3 boys, and my middle son, Aiden, 21 years old, took his life 10 days ago. And so I'm dealing with suicide in my world, and that is flippin' tough. He celebrated his 21st birthday on the 13th of August. So, So I want to just acknowledge that my life has changed, and I'm probably not going to be the same guy that I was 11 days ago. But I promise I'll try not to lose my shit while I'm doing this and keep the conversation a little more lighthearted after this point. My family is going through a tough time, but what is sustaining us is our extended family. And I have got to tell you that I have had the most amazing experience with people reaching out and making a horrible situation just a little more tenable because of the love and compassion that we're feeling. The Piper's Angels family is very special and precious to us as well. I'm a 3-time Crossing warrior as a captain. Gonna do it 4th time. We're gonna put a new team together this year. We'll talk about that. I ran the Team Seakeepers as a captain for the last 3 years. And fantastic. And that's how I met Travis and Piper and realized what we had been missing when I was dealing with cystic fibrosis in my world. I talk a lot about doing well for others, how important that is, how uniquely special that is. And this is a wonderful opportunity to do it. This past year, I haven't heard many people talk about this past year, but wow, what a year that was. We were all excited, ready to go Saturday night. Everything was looking great, and all of a sudden this weather system lines up, and it's like it lines up from Bimini Sands straight to Lake Worth Pier. And I tell people to this day, that thunderstorm, I felt like I was in an artillery barrage. It lasted all freaking night long, and we had to cancel. And when we had to cancel, my entire team said, we're out. We got obligations. We can't do it. So Seakeepers left the island, and my son Tristan and I were left behind saying, well, we got a boat, and we don't have a team, but I bet you there's some paddlers that probably lost their boat, just like we lost our team. And sure enough, we were introduced to 4 young ladies, Brooke, JP, Sam, and help me out here. Haley, thank you. She'd never forgive me. Wonderful ladies that had lost their boat twice. These are the same girls that on the way over to Bimini, their boat sank. Can't make this shit up. I mean, so, they go through a harrowing experience, barely making it to the island, all excited. They're all going to go single recreational, wanting to go beach to beach. And all of a sudden they lost their boat. And so we were introduced literally Sunday evening, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And at that point in time, Tristan and I were homeless too, because we had already checked out of our Airbnb. So it worked out. They let us stay in their condo, and we're all ready to go Sunday night. And the weather came in again. And so the beach-to-beach experience was taken away from these ladies, but we did come across the ocean together and had an amazing experience. And we're going to put together Team Rick's Angels for this coming one, and there's going to be 4 or 5 ladies that are going to come across with us, and we're going to have a freaking amazing time in 2025. So, looking forward to that. And I'm on the record by saying that as long as I'm physically capable of making this crossing at every level, we're going to continue to do it, and you're about to find out why. So, my wife, Lisa, was born in 1963 and was diagnosed before she was 2 years old with cystic fibrosis. There she is. Wonderful woman. I miss her dearly. So there goes I gave it away. But we had an amazing experience. I never knew anything about cystic fibrosis until I met her. And then when she told me about it, first thing I did, Google, deep dive. Started learning about cystic fibrosis, and oh my goodness. And she had it just the way you hear about most people having it. We would go to the hospital 3 times a year, 10, 15-day hospital stays, lung infections, cleanups. She had diabetes based on the cystic fibrosis byproducts of, what that happens there. And so she was dealing with type 2 diabetes. And at one point in time, we realized there was no Trikafta at the time. That drug, that miracle drug, wasn't even on the horizon yet. So we realized there's going to be a bilateral lung transplant in her future. And in 2012, we made the acceptance that this is about to happen. She's from North Carolina. We've done a lot of research. Duke Medical Center, phenomenal. I can't say enough about that organization, that hospital. And so we went there. She relocated to Durham, North Carolina in January of 2013, went into the Center for Living, which is a really cool program. They don't list you for transplant until you get through their program. They make sure you're strong and healthy enough to survive the transplant. And when you are and you graduate from that program, you then go on the list. So that was March 25th that she graduated from Duke Center for Living, went on the UNOS, the United Network of Organ Sharing list, and on April 2nd, we got the call. That was 2 days after her 50th birthday. So Lisa was 50 years old when she finally had her lung transplant. There's 2 stories I want to share because, full disclosure, we weren't highly religious. I mean, I was raised as a Christian, but I didn't really practice actively. But when we were in the hospital and we were going through her transplant, I tangibly saw God's hand several times. One of the most profound moments was when we were getting ready for her to be taken back. And this is anywhere from a 10 to 15-hour surgery to be expected, and it's a tough surgery. And so we were sitting in a prep room about 4:30 in the morning, had been up all night. All the family has been asked to leave, and it was just Lisa and I. And I said, you know what? I want to say a prayer. And she says, okay, Rick, I'll say a prayer with you. And so I held her hands, and I said a prayer. And it was like Steven Spielberg was off stage left, because I get to the end of this prayer and I say, amen, and it's like, oh, fuck, now what? And within like 15 seconds, good morning, boys and girls. Are you ready for this? We are going to go do this, and we're going to have a great success. This woman comes in, smile on her face. Just she basically takes us out of this moment and says, it's time to go. Had she not done that, had that timing not been there, I don't know how I could have kept it together. I know we were both struggling with that, but she went off and had that surgery, and it was a phenomenally successful surgery. It went really well. Met with a surgeon afterwards, and I don't know, I think there was like 18 chest tubes and all sorts of stuff, and it was like, wow, long recovery. And I spent 29 days at Duke Medical Center in her room 24/7 with her, helping her through it. The other moment, which I thought was really cool, if you know anything about cystic fibrosis, you know the butterfly is a symbol of cystic fibrosis. So now we're, 16 days after the surgery, and she's allowed for the first time to come off the floor and go outside. And we went outside and had a meal, and the insurance adjuster that was helping us with our insurance comes out, sits with us, and we hadn't sit down but maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And that butterfly flies down and lands on Lisa's, you can tell that's a hospital gown. Oh, that's pretty cool, you know? That butterfly hung out for almost 40 minutes, climbing up and down her sleeve, hanging out. At one point, Lisa looked at me and said, that's Daddy. She had lost her dad a few years before that. And, you know, that was God, again, I think, telling us that, hey, it's going to be good. You're all right. So ultimately, successful transplant, God's showing his way. We, as a family, we'd go to Lake Tahoe and ski. That's what we did. In fact, Lisa and I got married at the top of Heavenly, 9,000 some odd feet high, you know, before transplant. We go a year later, and we're going down the blue groomers, and all of a sudden, she's gone. I'm like, whoa. Now I'm skiing my butt off trying to catch up to her. Realized at the bottom of that run, it's like, you've got boy lungs, because she just nailed it. So I want to close by just kind of pulling this together. There's probably a what the F going moment here. Where's the happy ending in all this? And it's going to be like, well, my story's more of a happily ever after type story. It's not a happy ending story. There's a lot of sadness and grief and loss dealing with. But there's a lot of joy, life, love, and hope. I'm here tonight with all of you, my Piper's Angels family. This is life's big adventure. So all I've got to say is paddle your ass off. When it hurts, feel the pain, own the pain. Travis, you talk about this. Know it means you are alive and engaged in the grand experience of life. Happily ever after. Thank you for allowing me to share this story.